am I the only one that feels like that we got a lot in this episode, but at the same time, it went by like so far, and it was like over by the time you like kind of realize like what was going on. Now this episode definitely covered a lot, and I thought maybe they will like stretch things out a bit more, but we see now that in this episode that we got two deaths. And of course, if you played the game, you definitely know how it went down. But for some reason, we did not see the murders take place. And not only that, we did not see the bodies like afterwards as well. And so to me, that right there was like kind of weird. Maybe because they were like shown in the game that they felt like they didn't have to animate all of that. But at the same time, to me, that right there would have made it a lot more sweeter if we would have saw like their bodies or the murders like taking place. But we didn't get that. But regardless, this right here was a fantastic episode, and not to mention this story is definitely now picking up, especially with that ending, because I definitely got to see just how in the world did Hajime actually go through all of this to become like the so-called mastermind that we saw in Danganronpa 2. But backtracking a bit, the episode itself, it starts off where we have Hajime pretty much like idolizing like the main building, and of course all these people who have these talents. And to me, it was definitely made me feel very like bad for him, where we saw him like looking at the gates that led to the main building, and apparently like these reserve corps students, they actually can't go to the main building, and that right there is messed up. But we saw Hajime just like looking at it and just thinking in his mind, and we see that when he left, we saw like our class or the character that we know just like walking by him, just talking and like having a good time among themselves. And so we see now that while he was like having his lunch, like we saw him staring out the window at the main course building, and that's where we have Natsumi actually coming over there and like talking to him. And so pretty much like while they were talking, like she kept going on and on about how, she'll go there like no matter what, because she is the ultimate, little sister. And that right there is the title she actually gave herself. Now, I don't know why, like while playing the game, I never like pieced that together. But watching this episode right here really like put it into perspective, because to me, I like always find it weird. If you have this talent and you are the ultimate little sister, then like why are you here? But that right there was a title she gave herself because of not only because of the title that her brother had, but she actually wants to be with him, because if she's not, then she feels like they'll be so far apart that she'll like never be able to stay by his side after that, because of course he's the one who will become their family head when he grows up, and because he has a talent, and we all know that that Peko, it was apparently a hit woman even back then. But these two, have like very long history. But now, like while they're going here, they're acting like complete strangers. But regardless, she feels that like with her being talentless, she will like never be able to stand with her brother again, and that right there is something she will not allow. And so we see her now saying that if someone drops out, then maybe she can like take their spot. And she was talking about a certain person who had freckles, and we all know that right there is Mahiru. And so we see now another character that we saw for the first time in the story was a girl named Sato, and this girl right here really stood up for Mahiru, and we learn now that Sato, Mahiru, and Natsumi, they have this past that goes back before they were in high school, where they all were in like this photography club. And so pretty much, we have Sato sticking up for a friend, because Natsumi, like really does not like them, but more importantly, she like keep bashing Mahiru. And so we see now that even though these reserve corps students cannot go to the main building, of course these talented, high school level supers or ultimates, they can definitely come here, because we did see Mahiru, come in there trying to like stop them. And we see now that Sato here, she says something that completely like crossed the line. And we see now that when Natsumi was like gonna punch her, we have Mahiru getting between them to stop her. And so right now, that right there was like the first red flag where you know that their tensions were definitely running a bit too high. And so after that, we had Mahiru pulling Sato away. They went to go have lunch. And we even see like the touch moment between them where we have Mahiru making lunch for them. And then we also have Sato saying how she's the hope for the photography club because of course she's an ultimate. And so right now she was saying that what did she say? Oh my god, what did she say? That she's taking pictures that she likes taking. Sorry about that. But moving on now, we have Sato saying that how she believed that her pictures, will like spread, across the world, and that right there turned out to be true. But of course, it was not in a good sense at all. But moving on from that, we go back to Hajime and Natsumi, and these two seem to be forming like some kind of friendship, like throughout the episode. But of course, we did not see that because Natsumi, did unfortunately die here. But going back some, we see now that like we get this scene of Chiaki and Hajime playing this game, and so right now we have a Hajime asking her questions like if she not have this talent for like being the ultimate gamer, would she still love games this way? And so right now we have Chiaki pretty much repeating something that Chita said, where there are like more things than talent. It's the memories that you can make because they could be more valuable or more important, than a talent itself. Because Hajime throughout the entire episode, he was like really hooked up on having a talent because of course, like he was realizing, especially just seeing everything that was like going down with Natsumi and Sato, that this guy really had no talent at all. And so pretty much we got this scene between Peko and Fuyuhiko where they were talking about Natsumi about how she actually asked her father to like send her here so that way she'd be closer to him, but pretty much she cannot be, a main course student, which is why she got stuck in reserve. And so then we have Ibuki who spotted them talking because right now they were like pretending that they didn't like really know each other or had nothing to do or had nothing to do with like one another. And like even Ibuki had pointed out how she like never saw them talking, and so of course she wanted to know what was like going on. And so because of that, these two once again had to like act like they were strangers, and we saw them like parting ways. But pretty much now where we have Hajime come back to school after he was done hanging out with Chiaki, we once again saw Sato and Natsumi like going at it. And so this time we have Sato, telling her to like stay away from Mahiru, don't do anything. And pretty much now we have Sato getting ready to hit her, and luckily, we have Hajime there because he actually stopped her from doing that. And so we have Natsumi saying, next time I'll kill you, and we have her leaving, and then we have Hajime going after her. But then we see Sato kind of like breaking down because we saw her going somewhat crazy because she was like so obsessed with protecting Mahiru. And so now we see where we have a Hajime and Natsumi talking. We have Hajime pretty much telling Natsumi what Chiaki, told him about how memories are like more important or valuable compared to a talent. And so pretty much now we see Natsumi show some like real emotion for the first time, where she's not being that big of a bitch because we see now that she really does love her brother, and being with him would like make would mean the world to her. So right now she has like no choice to be like the ultimate little sister, even though that right there is like a lie she's like telling herself, because she's definitely talentless, because she is there, in the reserve course, so that pretty much, trumps like all the dreams that like she's having, but at the same time, she does not want to give up. And so we see now that the following day is at the school, she was actually found dead. And like I said earlier on in my review, for some reason, we do not see her body, but we do see that at the morgue, we have Fuyuhiko, he was like looking at it, and then we have Peko who was there as well, and she was like so mad that we see her punching a wall, and we see now that this blood was like falling from her hand, like that right there was like how hard she hit it. And so pretty much we have the students, dealing with this, but they all seem like not to really care, except for Hajime, who was definitely, who we saw, focus on at the end of that. And then we see now that Sato, she was gone for a couple of days, and that's where they found her body, and like she was now dead as well. And so we see that we have Hajime. He was going to go to the main, he was going to go to the main course building because he didn't want to talk to Mahiru about that. And I almost forgot that on the day that Natsumi died, we did see that Mahiru and Sato were like talking about this, because they were like they were putting this murder of Natsumi, on like some kind of serial killer. And so right now, we do learn that, Sato, she was like definitely denying it. And we even see that on her arm, she has like this very long scar that Natsumi actually gave her back when they were in a club when they were younger. And so when Mahiru left, we have Hajime, like walking up to her, asking her what they were talking about. And so right now we have Hajime, like trying to make sure that Sato had like nothing to do with this, because she was saying that, that it was a killer, or maybe it was suicide, like Natsumi gave up. But Hajime saw how passionate she felt about joining the main course so that she could be with her brother. So he knew that, she would like never give up like that. And so then we see Sato go blue in the face, and she ran away like a coward. And so when Hajime tried to go to the main, course building, he was stopped by security. And so right now he was like telling them how he really talked to somebody, who obviously went there, but they would not let him. And then we see that the musclehead guy from the future side, Jozu is his name, I believe. Like, we see how he was the head of security back then. And so right now he was stopping Hajime from like advancing. And we even see that, that he did get a bit rough with him, but at the same time he was like making Hajime like, pretty pissed off because of how he was like treating these talented people, saying how these students, like they were like easily replaceable, because they were like sweeping up these two murders like under the rug like nothing happened. And so eventually now we saw Hajime get so mad to the point where he got in like one good punch on Jozu, but of course it did not do, like any damage. But he was like definitely annoyed, where we saw him try to get serious, but then we have Chisa actually, get between them to stop him. And so right now we have Chisa trying to like be nice and friendly to Hajime, because we saw her offer him, this handkerchief so that way he could like wipe his mouth because he was bleeding, but we saw him smack her hand away and left. And so right now we get this scene between Juzo and Chisa, where they were talking about how, how they're only here to investigate, the school, because, right now Hope Peak, it is definitely rotten to the core. And so right now it's their job to get to the bottom of it. And so of course she has not forgotten that, but both of them did agree that the only one who can actually, fix the school up was what's her name? Munakata. And so right now, what they had agreed on that, we have Jesus saying how she would not give him to like anyone else, even him. So that right there kind of show how Jesus, did love him, even to this extent, because of course, Jesus, he obviously said that, Obviously he was not taking her too seriously because there was no way he would want that guy like that. But at the same time, he was saying how back there where she saved Hajime, she definitely looked like a real teacher, and that right there is true. Even though both of them are being like double agents right now, they are definitely doing a good job at their actual job. So I definitely applaud that. And so we see now where we have Hajime, like walking. Eventually, we see him go to that fountain that him and Chiaki like normally plays at. And so there was this new game that came out, and we saw Chiaki like so excited to play. And I gotta say, like, just seeing this friendship between Chiaki and Hajime, this right here is a personal highlight for me in like every episode because to me I just love it. But we see now that unfortunately Hajime, like this time he was acting like somewhat cold to her because he would not play because apparently he had something to do. And so right now he was saying how so in his mind, after leaving Chiaki, he was saying that as her friend, he wanted to say with pride that that he has a talent and he can do like this amazing thing. And so eventually we go to a room where we have Kyoko's father, Jin. We have the main course teacher, who right now is definitely not really being one. And not to mention, we have the school advisor, who is right now important to this story and the future side. And so right now we learn that apparently someone has agreed to go through this experiment where they will get this artificial talent and become artificial hope. And unfortunately, that victim right now is Hajime, because we saw that, in this room where we have pretty much like the cricket leaders of Hope Peak, like we have Hajime going to him, and apparently he has now agreed to become everyone's hope. And that right there is where the episode ended off. Like, we did not even get an ending this week, which has go to show you, just how much content we got in the episode. But right now, so obviously, starting next week, we will see, Hajime, go through this experiment where he will get this like artificial talent and artificial hope. And to me, it sounds crazy, but honestly, in this series, it does work, and I want to see just how in the world is that possible. So right now, I am definitely looking forward to that. This episode, it was definitely good, but right now, there were just like certain scenes or questions that popped up that definitely made me, raise a brow. But of course, let me know what you guys thought. Don't forget to like and subscribe because it really helps me out. And as always, you guys take it easy, and I will see you all next time.